Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Aging with Attitude. My name is Phil Koch. I'll be your host this evening. Tonight we have Cindy Greer, President and owner of Transition with Care. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah. Well, tell us first, Transition with Care, what is that company? And explain more a little bit about the services that your company provides.
Sure. Transition with Care is a senior move management company, and we are focused on working with adults 55 and older when there is a decision made to downsize, move, and relocate to a smaller home setting, as well as helping with aging in place strategies if that's what their wishes are. And I started the company in 2009. I'm a certified relocation and transition specialist, and I currently have a staff of 7 and 2 other senior move managers along with myself.
Wow. And that's an up-and-coming thing. It's very popular growth in that specialty service area, is it not?
It is. It is. I was just tripping myself up. Sorry. It is a new.
It's a new industry that's been growing.
It is.
Tell me where you get your referrals from. Is it senior retirement communities or churches, or name some of your referral sources?
We get our referrals largely from the retirement communities, elder state attorneys. And it is a new area in the senior care industry.
Right.
The senior move management field was largely started in 2002, so it is very new,
Right.
and it was organized by the National Association of Senior Move Managers. But back to the referral sources, yes, we get a lot of our referrals from retirement communities, CCRCs, just senior centers, anybody that's, involved with working with older adults and in the housing industry.
Right. So let's take it, if Mrs. Jones is looking to move to, say, a retirement community and wants to sell her house, how would she go about contacting you, and how are you involved versus a real estate agent? What's the difference?
Well, it really depends. It can be kind of a who gets the call first, actually. Sometimes we are the first sort of to meet with the family or the older adult, and then we're able to refer to a real estate agent.
Right.
Sometimes people are more interested on how to put together a moving plan. Some people want to approach their relocation from talking to a real estate agent first.
Right.
But a senior move manager is also, a resource for older adults. And while our services are very specialized to the actual relocation, we're going to be able to make referrals to other organizations and companies that will support that move.
Right, right. So Mrs. Jones says, I want to move to XYZ assisted living,
Right.
or a CCRC, continuous care retirement community. They would call up Cindy to help transition the move scale down on what is owned in the existing house to move into, in some cases, a smaller, more compact location in assisted living or a CCRC?
Exactly.
Okay.
So we're usually meeting and putting the whole plan together.
Right.
So we meet with them and talk to them about what their wishes are. Normally there's downsizing always involved in our relocations.
Right.
And then we're going to provide the guidance and the hands-on services to get them from point A to point B. We always start with a consultation, a free consultation, and then we're going to find out what the scope of services are needed so they can complete their move on time within their budget and remove that emotional and physical stress that's associated with moving.
Yeah, they say moving is one of the most stressful things you can ever do. I can imagine somebody's ready to take the next step into a senior community would possibly even be more stressful if they didn't have services like you to help transition them through that.
Exactly. So many of there's a lot of fear going into a move, and these later in life transitions are huge. There are lots of moving parts to them, especially when somebody is faced with possibly dealing with chronic medical conditions.
Right.
And then faced with planning a move, maybe quite suddenly, especially if you're moving into an assisted living. You definitely have either memory loss issues or chronic medical conditions that have developed and are prompting a move like that. So for the family, that's a very stressful move, and it requires a lot of support. We want family to be family to their loved one and let us manage all of the logistics, again, according to everybody's wishes and timelines. So everybody is relocated or that relocation takes place and everybody feels very supported and felt like they had the right guidance. That is really our overall goal as senior move managers, is to make sure everybody is supported throughout the whole process.
Right, because that's critical. There's not just one person involved on the family side that's moving to that community.
Right.
There's also siblings
Right.
and children, grown children, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Our moves, do take, there's like a whole scope of, different people that are involved in a relocation. And, we're seniors almost for the majority of our lives, actually. And I kind of break it down into, we have our younger seniors, our teenage seniors, and then our senior seniors. And so we're working with folks that are being proactive about their retirement years, in their late 60s, maybe early 70s. They're empty nesters now. But it's a lot of work to relocate, and especially if you've lived in your house 30, 40, 50 years, there can be an exorbitant amount of accumulation.
Right.
And then you realize, I may not have the physicality, needed to be doing the packing and the downsizing. It's bending, lifting, stooping, reaching, so it's very physical. And then, those folks that are kind of, downsizing maybe to a patio home or the continuing care retirement communities where there's more supportive services.
Right.
And then, transitioning on down to assisted living and even memory care. Those are all very sensitive and critical moves.
Yeah, and each location allows certain things and doesn't allow certain things. So would you also work with the family and decide what objects or items would go to family, what might go to, say, Goodwill or charity, and what might actually be moved with the family?
Yes, absolutely. That's what we call a liquidation plan.
Okay.
And so when we're working with our clients, and we're usually there throughout the entire process, and ideally, we're helping them plan what to take to their new home. And once we have them moved and resettled, then, we are kind of working through a liquidation plan. It doesn't always work that way because there's just so many different situations and time frames and people involved. But yes, after we have, helped them decide what they want, then we go through and typically go room by room and help them decide what they want to do with the rest of their items. And that could be charitable donation, it could be consignment, it could be maybe it's appropriate for an estate sale or a tag sale or even a garage sale. So we help, identify all the dispersal avenues for our clients.
Very, very important.
It is. It's very important. This topic of getting rid of our stuff is pretty big. There are 76.4 million baby boomers. Wow. And if you can imagine, everybody that is really kind of going through some of these processes or these issues, and stuff is always coming up in every move. And interestingly enough, there's also a gerontologist at Kansas State University that did a survey in the 2010 National Health and Retirement Study, and he was able to interject questions to people that had just relocated, and it was about 1,100 in the poll. And the big takeaway of that study for me, there were a lot of statistics, but that 75% of those polled felt trapped to some degree by their stuff.
Really?
And what that means is that people aren't making good decisions about their own well-being, perhaps to move on to a more manageable home setting, because they don't know how to get rid of their stuff. And a lot of people are ashamed that they have so much stuff and they don't know what to do with it. So that's a whole nother issue.
And I would think that the memories involved in the stuff, it's not just what we can liquidate that is considered economically valuable, but things that are valuable that are not, maybe it's an ashtray, but it means so much to Mrs. Jones because it was given to her by her grandmother.
Right.
I mean, those come into play too, I would imagine, in your business.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Those family dynamics and growing up in a family, what I may look at in somebody's home, has no emotional value to me. But you could have, 3 adult children all really, just so attached to an item. And we do help navigate through all those different emotions. Yeah. And even especially with our clients, I mean, we hear a lot of, painful memories too. Memories are, positive or negative. But I think, working with a third-party professional, such as, our company, we are there to help them let go. Yeah. And to help them, and to respect, what those memories were and to listen. And that goes along with making this relocation process more positive. Right. And, as far as...
And exciting.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
And,
another stage in their life.
It's a new beginning. Right. And, we really want them to feel positive about this big decision that they've made for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be so much about, what you're leaving behind as what you are moving towards.
Exactly.
And that's what we really want to bring out in our clients.
Wow, that's exciting. I mean, because you're right. You are helping people go to the next level of their life, a new beginning. Yeah. And that must be very rewarding.
Right. Yeah. It's all a journey, as we all know, and it is very rewarding to help somebody when you meet with them the first time and they're confused and they're upset and they're not sure what lies ahead of them. And if you can reassure them and let them know that you're going to make their next home, really special and feel special and take great joy in arranging their things, because that's one of the big benefits that we do is that, we provide the custom floor plan, and then we provide the packing service. We're there on move day to manage the move. And then we typically ask our client, and the families to, go on out and have lunch, go about doing what you would like to do, because move day is a very busy day. Right. And you don't want to be just kind of standing around watching your stuff moved. You really don't. You worry about it. Let us do the worrying about it. But so we are there to follow the movers over to the new home site if it's a local move. And then we unpack and put everything away. We'll hang the pictures, make the beds, set the clocks. So when our clients walk in, it feels like home. And many of our clients, their families, they call it the big reveal, because we've been brought back in to, move clients from one place to another. And so, yeah, it's very rewarding.
Can you do, like if they're moving into an assisted living or a patio home, can you work with even software that can bring up, let's say, a floor plan and figure out where a couch or a chair or even paintings can go?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What we have found is, most of the retirement communities and any new construction, they have those floor plans and diagrams. And but what they don't do a lot of times is, locate where the outlets are and window heights and a lot of good detail information that goes along with planning a room setting, especially for an older adult that might be using a walker and or wheelchair. So what we do is, we will go to the new home site, again, if it's a local move, because we're involved in and out of state moves.
Okay.
And we will measure that wall space and then generate digitally a custom floor plan and then share that with all that's involved. And then we can easily make changes.
Right.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I mean, that's important stuff. I own a family care home myself, as you know.
Right.
Putting the furniture in the rooms was much more of a thought process than I ever thought, even where the TV would be.
Right.
Because if it's angled by where the window has the sunshine, well, you don't want that if you can't see the TV, right?
Right.
I mean, this all comes into play. Utility outlets, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And our clients are computer savvy, and we have to make sure that the placement of the computer, television, not too many, and stereos too, but and how that furniture is all going to work together and function. But it's a big deal, especially the television placement. That's always a huge deal.
It's a major issue.
It's a huge deal
for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And the cable box. Where's the cable box go?
Yeah, right, exactly. So we want to know all those nuances about what's going on in that space, so we can plan the very best room setting for our clients.
Well, your clients would be very fortunate because you also come from the industry even before you started your company, correct?
Right. I actually started my background started out in art and interior design.
Really?
And and then I segued to working for a retirement community as a community relations director. And then became the director of marketing for a home care company here in Charlotte. So, and all of that was while I was going through the caregiving of my own family. So that was a big inspiration to starting the company, was having gone through caring for my mother and watching her care for my father, and then my grandparents as well. So really everything that I've done in life is kind of built upon itself. And I feel very fortunate to be able to apply, kind of all my skills and passion towards a population that I'm just love so much.
Yeah, you've been in the business a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tell. And I think that personal experience is so very important to clients, knowing that you've been there yourself.
Yeah.
And okay, you've helped your own parents. You've been in the industry. You probably know most, if not all, the retirement communities. Even if somebody came to you and say, gee, if they chose to move to retirement, you probably would know, even give advice to go down that direction.
Well, as far as making a selection to which retirement community to move to?
And different options that are out there now.
I really don't do a lot of that. I will be happy to be a sounding board to somebody, but because our real niche is the relocation process of it, and I think that there is so much more that goes into selecting a retirement community that I'm not privy to, as far as financial information, what somebody's resources are to making that move, and each community, has its own personality as well.
Yes.
And I know that when I was touring my mother through retirement communities when she was living, it's a very personal choice, and it's almost kind of like when you know.
Right.
And so, I can't get involved in that because we're just doing too much other stuff. But I am very familiar with all the retirement communities and assisted livings in the Charlotte metro area, which I think is helpful to our clients, so we know right off the bat, kind of what they're looking at, some room sizes, also the community professionals that are there.
Exactly.
And so I think that's real important So it also gives them a comfort level too, that someone is familiar, with where they're moving to and who they're going to be engaging with, and we can kind of be a liaison, in that respect to our clients as well as to the community.
So what prompted you? What made you say, you know what, you're very successful. What made you say, I think I want to be a senior move manager? Or did you see the industry grow that direction?
Well, I was, I kind of was going through my own personal transition, and I was not employed at the time, and I started doing some research, literally just on the internet. And I had always prided myself on knowing, all the different niches in the senior care arena.
Right.
And I came across senior move management, and I was like, what? I've never heard of this. And the more I read about it, I couldn't believe that, it involved the space planning, it involved knowledge of communities and of older adults. And I really did not intend to start a company. And again, this was about 7 years ago when I stumbled across this industry.
Right.
But it just seemed like, if I don't do it, who's going to do this for this population? Because I felt like I was uniquely qualified.
You are, definitely.
And so that's really kind of how it started. And I've had a lot of wonderful support in the community, with my family, with my friends. And again, I just feel very fortunate to be able to do this for folks. And now I have a wonderful team that in many respects does it much better than I did when we were starting out.
So tell me about your team. What do they do, and what roles do they have within the team?
Sure. Well, I have 2 senior move managers on staff with me, and they have been with the company for 5 years.
Wow.
And so they have been, it's Barb and Katie, and they have been my right and left hand for years, and they saw firsthand how I wanted things done. And as the company grew, I needed to be more of a leader for the company and manage, the company. Although I'm still very involved and know all of our clients, right. But they are now executing a lot of the planning that I started out doing everything, and they would support me. So now they've evolved to being a senior move manager in every way, shape, or form.
Wow.
And then I have a team of 5 that support them. Right. And so they are the ones that are in the front lines too, with packing and unpacking and placing furniture, opening up accessories, putting away your closets in an organized and appealing fashion, putting away your kitchen items. And it is a team effort, and there's no room for egos.
Right.
It's really all about, getting this work done according to our clients' wishes in a certain time frame, and making them really feel good about where they're moving to.
And like you mentioned earlier, reducing their stress or anxiety as they go through this.
Right.
Next step in their life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And reducing the anxiety for the client as well as, for the family that may or may not be, involved. We are also involved in moves that our clients are moving out of the area to be closer to family in other states, as well as folks that are moving into the area to be closer to family. And because we are members of the National Association of Senior Move Managers, we can connect with other move managers in the different areas and have them provide certain support, on one end, and we can provide additional
support on your end.
Exactly. Great. So we've had moves, from California. We're working with a move now, a woman who's a lovely woman, who's in her early 70s, and she does not have children. She does not have family that's looking after her, and she's been diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment. And so she has located a retirement community in Portland, Oregon, and
Really?
She made the selection because they serve a organic meal. And yes, and so I think this could be a whole nother segment, is, you know, what people are looking for in their retirement years, because it's changing. So we are helping her with all the downsizing in her home here in Charlotte, and we have oversaw the meeting with the moving company, making sure that they're, you know, she's going to be paying a fair rate, and we're, you know, understanding of, you know, what they're going to be responsible for. Just her advocate, you know, through that whole process. And so she will be moving close to the end of this month.
From here to Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon. And
dietary issues is a big factor.
Yeah,
really.
And she's very outdoorsy, you know, and of course Portland, Oregon, you know, has a lot of, it's a beautiful state, and but that takes a lot of courage.
Yes,
and,
it does.
But we're there, and we're her emotional support, and I have a feeling I'll be flying out to Portland.
That's good. I mean, it is. Of course, it's your business, but you get very involved with clients.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You want to be their advocate because they're a client, but you also become very fond of them. No?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think you can be as successful as what I feel like we have if you don't care.
Right.
And we truly care about our clients' well-being. And this is just something that is ingrained. And I have been so fortunate that, you know, my employees feel the same way.
Yeah.
And many of my employees, you know, have also gone through this experience in their own families. So they also draw upon that personal experience as well.
Yeah, that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you've obviously done a very good job, and it's a growing industry.
Well, it is a growing industry. Our housing market is coming back. Charlotte is very fortunate to have some really wonderful, wonderful retirement and assisted living communities here, and there is building of retirement communities going on.
Yeah.
So we are fortunate, and we need all of these senior resources in housing, and, you know, keeping them safe in their homes too.
Very important.
Very important.
Very important.
And so we always feel, you know, that aging in the home is the best place to be, as long as your home is supporting you and
Absolutely.
it's not turning on you.
Absolutely. Great points.
Yeah.
I want to thank you very much for being on the show. Cindy Greer with Transitions with Care. I want to thank all of our viewers tonight for tuning in. Thank you and good night.